What if everyone in the world becomes rich? A utopia where poverty disappears overnight. No more suffering, no more hunger, no more working jobs you hate. All the problems of the world will vanish in an instant, right? Well, not exactly, because history is filled with examples of failed utopias. Let me tell you, the real question isn't what if everyone becomes rich. It's how they got rich. Because how changes everything. Did the money show up in a flash? Did people grind for it, slow and steady, year over year? Or did the entire system recalibrate to hand out equal wealth to every person alive? Each of these paths leads to a radically different destination. And some of those destinations are straight up disasters. But why should any of this matter to you? Because your beliefs about money might be the one thing silently sabotaging you. What you think is evil might actually be necessary, and what feels like a perfect solution might be the blueprint for collapse of you and the entire human race by extension. This video is going to hit different, because not only will I walk you through 3 very real economic futures, I'll also show you the only roadmap that leads to lasting wealth, one that you can follow, one that doesn't require you to wait for the rich to do the right thing, or for the system to suddenly turn fair. Let's start with a scenario that a lot of people secretly dream about. What if everyone got $1 million overnight? Sounds amazing. But let's see what happens when we actually play that out. Scenario 1. Everyone becomes instantly rich. Imagine one morning, you wake up and every single person on Earth has exactly $1 million. You check your bank account, 6 zeros, you smile, but then you check the news. And suddenly, so does everyone else. Now this is what happens. At first, it's euphoria. People quit their jobs en masse. No more waiting tables, no more grueling night shifts, no more construction sites or delivery routes. Why work when you've made it? Restaurants shut down, power plants have no staff, hospitals empty. Even the garbage doesn't get collected. Within a week, every supply chain collapses, supermarkets run out of food, airports have no pilots, internet services fail, then inflation hits. Prices don't just rise, they explode. A loaf of bread that cost $2 now costs $2,000 because everyone has money, but nobody wants to work. Currency begins to lose meaning. Your $1 million now buys you a burger. Maybe. And even that depends on whether someone's willing to cook it. Then comes the violence. Desperation sets in. Cities go dark. Law enforcement is nowhere. You thought money would bring peace. But when everyone's a millionaire, money becomes worthless. And in this new world, the only real currency left is power. So what started as a dream becomes a nightmare. A world where instant wealth destroyed the very systems that made it worth having. A society with no value, no direction, and no stability. Apocalypse, not because of poverty, but because of too much wealth, too soon without any foundation. That's bleak. But what if wealth wasn't dumped overnight? What if the rich finally paid their dues? What if the government actually prioritized people over power? That brings me to scenario 2, playing field is leveled. One fine Tuesday morning, the billionaires decide to finally open their wallets. Government policies become genuinely fair. Progressive taxes kick in. Education, free. Healthcare, universal. Student loans, gone. Every American, whether born in a Brooklyn penthouse or a trailer park in rural Alabama, gets the same shot. Same schools, same mentors, same tools, same Wi-Fi speed. Sounds like utopia, doesn't it? And at first, it is. The kid who once juggled 2 jobs and night classes is now pitching his startup idea at Stanford. The waitress saving for a decade to get her dental surgery. She gets it done for free. The immigrant family running a food truck finally buys the building they used to rent from. For the first time ever, the American dream isn't reserved for the lucky. It's systemized, scalable, shared. And for a moment, the air smells like justice. But then, something strange begins to happen. When every ladder is lowered to the ground, people stop climbing. When failure feels like a soft cushion, the fear that once sparked ambition disappears. When the game is fair, the scoreboard matters less. Because if everyone can live like Elon Musk, why try to be Elon Musk? Entrepreneurship takes a nap. Innovation becomes safe. Risk feels unnecessary. Startups turn to stable jobs. Creators turn to comfort. And discomfort, the one thing that built America, goes extinct. Soon, society plateaus. The GDP stagnates. Markets grow sideways instead of up. And the spirit that once said, let's build the impossible, now whispers, let's not mess up the comfort. Because here's a hard truth we don't like to admit. Disparity gives us something to chase. Contrast gives meaning to our progress. When everything's equal, people stop trying to be exceptional. And eventually, the very system that was built to uplift everyone begins to collapse under its own kindness. Not because it failed to give people dignity, but because it quietly stole their drive, their ambition. That's the paradox of equality. It works beautifully on paper. But humans, we're not made of paper. We're made of pain, pride, jealousy, desire. We're fueled by watching someone else get more, then telling ourselves, I'll get there too. And when that fuel disappears, so does progress. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If we flattened the playing field overnight, society wouldn't thrive, it would crumble. Because while equality sounds noble, it strips away the very pressure that turns coal into diamonds. And without that pressure, without friction, we stall. So then, is there a way out? Is there any model that doesn't just sound good in theory, but actually works in the real world? Because let's be real. As I showed you in my last video, our generation is walking into a storm. The economy is engineered to reward capital, not labor. The policies are outdated and over-leveraged. And technology, it's not just replacing jobs, it's erasing entire categories of human value. Owning a home, affording healthcare, raising a family on a single income, that's not the American dream anymore. That's historical fiction. But what if the solution isn't out there? What if you and I and millions of others started mastering the core principles of personal finance? This brings me to Scenario 3, financial awakening. Now imagine this. You wake up tomorrow and suddenly you understand money. Not just you, everyone, from Wall Street execs to Walmart cashiers, everyone wakes up fluent in personal finance. They know what an index fund is. They understand compound interest. They stop buying liabilities and start stacking assets. They build emergency funds, automate investments, track their spending like hawks. They upskill, switch careers, and build income streams like they're preparing for war. At first, everything feels weird. No more impulse iPhone upgrades, no more five-figure weddings funded by credit cards, no more flexing on Instagram with money that doesn't exist. Consumer spending drops like a rock. Retail giants, fast fashion chains, and luxury car brands take the hit. The economy slows down because people finally stop overextending themselves. But then, 5 years in, something wild happens. People aren't just surviving, they're stable. No more living paycheck to paycheck. Debt is rare. Savings are normal. Middle class actually means middle class again. And because people are stable, they start spending again. But this time, with purpose. Vacations, homes, books, education. They invest in their health, their kids, their communities, and because people have money, new businesses rise to serve them, startups explode, innovation returns, not because of scarcity, but because people finally have space to breathe. When you're not drowning in bills, you can dream again. And dreams become businesses, and the economy takes off like a rocket on a clear morning. Yes, there will still be a divide, there will still be rich and poor, some will fly commercial, others will own private jets. But now, poverty won't mean suffering, because everyone, even the lowest earner, will have access to food, healthcare, shelter, education, and most importantly, dignity. You see, most people don't hate work. They hate being trapped. They hate being stuck in dead-end jobs they can't leave because they're one missed paycheck away from disaster. Fix the money, and you fix the freedom. Now, here's the plot twist. Once that desperation vanishes, millions will leave menial, soul-sucking jobs. But automation, AI, robotics, they're already on standby to fill the gap. Let the machines do the grunt work, let the humans build Mars colonies. With financial stability, people will finally move toward high-leverage careers. Space science, renewable energy, clean tech, longevity research. The kind of stuff that gets humanity to type 1 or even type 2 civilization status. And guess what? Greed won't vanish, disparity won't vanish. But with educated, empowered consumers, the market will self-correct. Competition will punish laziness, value will win, and progress will compound. People say, we need contrast, we need disparity. Yes, we do. Without it, societies collapse, as we saw in the first two scenarios. But this is productive contrast, where the race is fair, where the starting line is visible, where the rewards are real, and the climb doesn't kill you. This isn't utopia, it's financial literacy at scale, and it might just be our best shot. So what was the point of all this? It's simple. These three scenarios not only reflect societies, but also you and me. Instant wealth will break you, equal wealth will soften you and trap you in mediocrity. But earned wealth, that changes your DNA. Because when you fight for it, when you bleed for every dollar, learn every lesson, and level up with every setback, you don't just build wealth, you become wealth. You just need a mindset shift. To stop looking at money as the goal and start seeing it for what it really is, a mirror. It reflects who you are, what you value, what you're willing to risk, build, and become. Because in the end, the most important wealth you'll ever have is the wealth that lives inside you. The mindset, the habits, the person you became on the way to getting rich. And that kind of wealth, it doesn't just buy freedom, it is freedom. And whether you like it or not, you'll have to start changing, sooner or later. Because, like I've broken down in this video, we're not living in our parents' economy anymore. The system is rigged in ways most people can't even see. And if you're not playing the wealth game with your eyes wide open, you're already losing. Watch this video, because if you don't understand what's happening, you'll end up wondering why life feels harder, while others seem to print progress out of thin air.